Hey tubers, let's say you find yourself some big red somewhere, you drag it on home and the carburetor is just no good. The clone version of this carburetor is about 60 bucks. To get a good one, new old stock or whatever, or a little better one, you know, you could be $100 or $200. Even to buy the 250X flange and carburetor, that clone is a little bit better. It's got a manual choke on it instead of one of these slide chokes. Even with that, you'll be tying up somewhere around $100. Let's say you're really trying to be cheap about this. For those of you who watch my channel, you know I'm in love with the PZ29 or PZ30 carburetor. This is a real Kevin. They make the China version of it really cheap, like $15. So if you could adapt one of these to go on your 250 ES, you're saving quite a bit of money. You could also make an adapter and put it on your TRX 250 or your 250X also. Easy enough to do. Plate brass. I happen to get this from P&T Surplus up there along the Esopus Creek near Kingston. So that's where I got it from, but you could buy it over the internet, eBay, no problem. Few bucks. And the other thing you buy, this fitting here is a 1.25 inch down to 3/4 reducer. To get your pattern, I just measured the space between the center of this and the center of the far one, about 47 millimeters. And what you do is you mark it right on this piece of graph paper. To get the very center, you just count blocks in between the two. And because this is a little bit off, I just went down one block, and then you start drilling holes, right? You put this down on your brass, punch, ping, 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 and you drill an 1/8 inch hole. And then you just drill the holes a little bigger, right? I think these two are 1/4 inch, and this one here is just a little bigger than 3/4. Actually, I think it's actually 1 inch. How did I drill the 1 inch hole? I used step drills. I have a 1 inch step drill downstairs, so you just step your way through. I prefer to drill it before I cut it loose. First of all, it's just a lot easier to hang on to a bigger piece of metal. Secondly, once it keeps it from warping and bending when you have the extra material around it. And then it's also easier to cut out. Cutting it out, I just use a grinder. Be careful, because as you're like cutting these pieces off, if this thing fires off and hits you in the face, it's going to do some damage. What I'm going to do is I'm doing this video separate than this whole thing. First, to keep it short, and second, a lot of people might be just interested in the carburetor swap and not the whole functionality thing. So I'm going to put this video off as a second video, much like the hot wiring one. And you'll see this come back again when I actually start it up. So my converter is done. This piece slides into the flange on the engine, and obviously you bolt the carburetor to the brass. You can see it's not absolutely perfect. This extra ring is the piece I cut off from the 1.25 inch side of the plumbing fitting. I just slid it on and soldered it, and you could see I filled in a little bit of space here, right? This is soldered well, right? No voids in the solder, because the last thing you want to do is create a vacuum leak, because once again, a vacuum leak means it might be hard to start. You might not think this is perfectly smooth. What I typically do is put a wrap of electrical tape around it, right? And that'll make it nice and snug. Everything seals well to the tape, and the tape seals well to the copper and the solder. And I have no vacuum leaks. So here it is with the tape around it. right? Just make sure it's nice and smooth, no bunches, and it fits right in there, nice and snug. And then I just have to bolt up to it and tighten this down, and we're all good. Here we have the flange bolted right to the carburetor. Now it's just a matter of slipping it on, tightening it, and hopefully the next video you see is this 250 ES running. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed these series of videos, plus the 2 bonus ones, the one on hot wiring and the one on hacking a carburetor onto this thing. I want to thank you all for watching and commenting and subscribing. Please, please keep your feet down, your heads up, and make sure you get out and enjoy each and every day. Bye now.